Hello, everyone, and we are officially starting week 3 in our 9-week JuvaFit challenge. And by the way, it's never too late. It takes 30 days for you to break a habit or maybe to create a new one. We're all about health and wellness. I am Melissa Wittenborn, and I am the captain of the Fighting for More in 2024 team. And we are having some success already after only 2 weeks. We just started our 3rd week. A few announcements first. First of all, the move of the week is push-ups. You can do them. You can do them on the wall. You can do them on your knees. I do them on the countertop. I'm working down to a bench. You can do it standing in the shower if you want to. We do the moves of the week for 1 minute. And I have been doing 1 minute, a little bit of a challenge. And now starting tomorrow, because I'm 3 days into the 3rd week, I'm going to try to do a minute, 5, 10, and 15, and work up to a minute and a half by the time our 4th week starts, because this is a challenge. We challenge ourselves. I've also been challenging myself to track better, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. And I've also been tracking my hydration and my water. Did you know that if you don't hydrate enough, it'll elevate your blood pressure? There's all sorts of benefits to hydrating, and we have an amazing C7 water pitcher that we discussed last week that is just wonderful to make sure that your body is actually absorbing all the hydrogen that you can and all the alkalinity in the water that you can. So we're going to start out a little bit different this week. I want everyone to introduce themselves because we have a very, very, very special guest on our call tonight. I am Melissa Wittenborn, the captain of Fighting for More in 2024. And I got involved in the JuvaFit challenges through Steve, my upline. 4 years ago, I was suffering from a very severe foot injury and chronic pain, and was unable to really get off the couch to even walk to the restroom, let alone try to exercise or do anything like that. Steve said, you need to join this. It's just amazing. We have 4 different categories, which we won't go into tonight, but we have 4 different categories that we can sign up for. And so I signed up for the easiest category, and Steve wound up introducing me to our main coaches, Megan and Travis Dutson. Megan Dutson coached people from The Biggest Loser, and she was just so loving and accommodating and helped me modify something like a push-up that I can't even get on the floor or get up off the floor 4 years ago. Now I can easily do that. And she helped me modify things so that I could get the fullest benefit while sitting or laying down. So it is possible if you want it. But what you do have to do is make a commitment to you to challenge you. This is not a race, it's not a competition. But anyway, Steve, I will let you introduce yourself. Well, actually, I'll let Michelle introduce herself first, and then Steve, I'll let you introduce yourself.
So I am Michelle Meldy from Tampa, Florida, and I got into Juva via my sister, Melissa. Yes, we are sisters. And I was having not serious health challenges, but things were definitely after menopause ended, like things were falling off the wagon, and Melissa looks like my younger sister. So, you got to do what your big sister's doing when she looks better than you. So
You're very nice. Thank you.
I started using the products and just became a Juva junkie, literally, like just liking the culture of people who want to get healthier from the inside and out, and have met some really amazing people through Juva. Yeah. And I enjoy that I'm getting my health back. It's up and down and it's not perfect, but the JuvaFit challenges help me to just be more accountable to me. And you're on a team, so you don't want to disappoint your team. I'm a people pleaser, so we do it for ourselves, but also the team.
So have you lost weight in inches in the challenges?
Overall, I've lost, well, it was at 20 pounds, but since this move, I would say overall I've lost maybe 15. So this challenge is to get me back on track after an
Excellent.
international move this summer and lots of changes in my life. So yeah,
Congratulations. Yes.
it's
Michelle had an international move. So if you think you're too busy, I'm sorry, but this girl wins the prize.
I had to move my
Steve,
business and all the things. It's been great.
Steve, I want you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your health and wellness story as well, please.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me on, and it's great to be
My
here with
pleasure.
everybody.
Thank you.
And Michelle, you look great, so keep up the good work. With that said, it's so true. We're all struggling along to track and keep ourselves moving, because we're all human, right? And my story is this. I wasn't feeling too well, and unfortunately, I didn't realize what acid reflux was. I had heartburn, so I kept, taking, some things like Advil to calm it down. So I thought, of course, I wasn't eating very well. I was drinking a lot of coffee and eating buffalo wings. I know that doesn't help at that time, and I had no idea. Anyway, long story short, I know I had went out to eat, and I thought I had food poisoning. Few days later, my stomach went way out. It bloated way, way out, and I vomited. I thought it was food poisoning. I don't want to be so graphic, but it was dried blood, and a lot came out of me in two different ways. So I felt better after getting that out of me, but something still didn't seem right. So I went to the doctor, drove. He's like, I don't know how you drove here. He goes, you have to go to the emergency room right now. You lost a ton of blood. And I had no clue. And so they told me they were concerned because they didn't know if I had a ulcer or I had stomach cancer, and I was scared to death. I was in the hospital bed. It was really scary. And so I didn't have any of that, thank God. But what I did have was a hiatal hernia with a ring. And they said, if you don't get on Nexium, you're going to get stomach cancer. And they scared basically the life out of me. So I was on that medication listening to them for about 10 years. They don't give it to you that long anymore. And I went to the dentist and I had some x-rays done. They go, wow, for your age, you have a lot of bone loss. And I knew that was a side effect of the medication. So I started Googling what to do naturally. I'd never been into natural things, okay? And it said ginger and turmeric. I went to Whole Foods and bought fresh ginger and turmeric, started boiling it as a tea, read these recipes. I felt better, but not perfect. One thing led to another that got me to somebody who was blogging that got me to where I am today, okay, to get on these high impact ginger and turmeric, of course, muscadine seed oil as well, but it was the ginger and turmeric. And lo and behold, I was able to get off that medication, okay? I still have issues from the side effects of the medication that's called a poison, okay? So I'm still working on stuff and also some kidney stuff, I believe, as a result of that, but we're working on it. And I got my health back mostly. I mean, I watch what I eat. I live a ketogenic lifestyle. I learned what happens, and we talk about this all the time, to connect the dots for those of you who are watching this, okay? During the Industrial Revolutions, when they started feeding the cows grains, as we all know, when we go to the store, grass-fed is the thing because that's what they're supposed to eat, grass or hay. They're not supposed to eat grains, and that's going in you. It affects you. Then the 90s hit, and we had this thing called the GMOs, okay? And we never had gluten allergies before that. I don't remember that ever being a thing. I don't remember there ever being that on a menu or anything. And if you look at, unfortunately, the percentage of diseases that happened or has happened from the 90s till today, it's through the roof on everything, and no one's questioning it. It all made sense to me. And what I understood was I had a mentor that helped me understand this and an analogy of if you're driving your automobile, right, over a bunch of nails, if you don't pull the nails out of the car tire, you're going to get a flat. You have to pull the nails out, patch the hole up, and fill it back up with air. There's a lot of people talking about gut health, digestion health, and all this lab-made stuff. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent, but what I am telling you is this is the most natural, high impact that I've ever seen. It's real food. You can eat it. It's we're not trying to sell you something. We're just trying to tell you inflammation is the biggest killer. Your gut, your villi, your digestion. If we don't get that right, we're in trouble. We do, when Melissa talked about tracking, we also do some tracking that anybody that listens to this call that is connected to Melissa or Michelle can share this, because I'll be happy to do this with you guys, because they're all part of my team, okay? Where we do conduct a natural health evaluation. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to make claims, but this health evaluation was made by 500 naturopaths. It's probably the best way to track. It goes through hard tissue, soft tissue, sugar, and digestion. What we found out is this. We've had people that were bone on bone, that couldn't walk, that were told to get surgeries. We had people that had all kinds of issues. If they get the digestive system right and take enough to offset all these things, so medications like I was on, which was a poison, okay? Things like the wrong food, okay? Whatever it might be, all the damage of we really need it. It's like, it's unbelievable what it does. So anyway, that's my story. As a result, yes, I encourage Melissa to join the challenge. I'm so glad she did after hearing her story. We've had people that, we're not making claims, we're just telling you what's happened. Okay, we had people with stage 4 cancer that have gotten help to reverse some things. We've had people with high blood pressure, all kinds of stuff. It's been amazing. And again, all we're doing with this, and thank you for having me on, Melissa, is we're just trying to get people good information, sharing with the community, being supportive. We're not making claims, but we're just trying to show people if the body has the right nutrition, it will heal itself. And that's what we've learned. And, if there are folks that are watching this, that Melissa, please reach out to her. If you know Michelle, she'll be sharing this. Please reach out to her, and we'd be happy to help you. And if you decide that you want to join the wellness challenge, it's free. The more the merrier, because we all learn from each other, and it helps us to keep ourselves on track, and it helps us to get better when we research some things. And it's just an unbelievable community. So maybe I said too much, I don't know, but that's my tidbits.
No, you're fine. And thank you for that, Steve. And I don't think what people understand is the amount of education that we actually get when we join this challenge. And this is an example of it. Last night, we talked about our basal metabolic rate. And when they started talking about this, I'm like, okay, my head's spinning, because even though I'm a data girl, I just want you to give me the information and then I track. But here's what's interesting. I know my sister and I track on the Carb Manager app, and the Carb Manager app will satisfy whatever diet you want to be on. You do not have to be on a keto diet, although we recommend it for a variety of reasons. But you can be on the Mediterranean diet, you can be on a vegan diet, whatever. The Carb Manager app will adapt to that. And what you do is you input what your goal is, and then it helps you track. If you bite it, we write it, and it helps you track everything so that you can be accountable for what you're eating, for what your movement is, for what your water intake is. All of these things, are part of that app. So last night we discussed the basal metabolic rate, and they posted a link to calculate what your metabolic rate should be as far as caloric intake should go. So depending on what type of a diet you enter into the Carb Manager app will depend on your balance of macros, another sort of a concept, but what type of carbs, protein, and fiber that you want to have into your diet. So I went on to the app or to the website that calculates it, and I realized to be at my ideal weight, I need to be taking in 1,600 calories, not 2,000 to 2,500 calories. So it does matter. Calories do matter, even though it's not officially a diet that I'm on, but I want to hold myself accountable. And that's what the challenge is about, holding yourself accountable. So just wanted to throw that out there. If you want the website, reach out to me or Michelle or Steve, and we'll be happy to share that with you. So closing thoughts real quickly, because I always promise I won't take up a lot of people's time. And Michelle, we're going to start with you. I want you to tell me what you've accomplished in the last 2.5 weeks and what your goal is for this week moving forward in the third week, because we're almost a third of the way through the challenge, right?
Yes. So I've accomplished a lot, not so much in weight loss, but I'm trying to build my strength back. I had a fall and broke 1, 2, 3, I think 4 or 5 different little bones in my body, my wrist and my foot. So I'm getting back. I'm on no NSAIDs anymore, just the ginger and turmeric. My doctor was very proud. It's been 5.5 weeks. And because we know that those things, there is some research that shows you're, like Steve was saying, you're at an increased risk for certain things based on research for NSAID. So I was really trying to get off of that and either try just like flat out baby aspirin with no coating or just ginger and turmeric. So I'm really managing my pain because movement helps the circulation, which helps your healing. So my doctor is very pleased with how my healing is going. It's going to be a long journey, and I've been able to modify all my movements. My steps are down. I'm normally a 10 to 15,000 steps a day girl, but not for the last 6 weeks. I was sick, and then I had an injury, and then I got COVID. So all those things piling on told me that my body and I need to get back on track with back on track with healthy eating, and back on track with my
So
strength training.
what's your goal for this upcoming week?
My goal for the next week is tracking. I
Okay.
did very well the first week and a half. I really was getting on the up and up, and life gets busy, and then I don't do it. And tracking tells me so much. It's so important. I either find out I'm eating way too little or way too much. And the app that Melissa and I use definitely takes into account your activity. Yeah, and then I can see my balance, like, whoa, I was way up on proteins today. I had way too much protein and not enough fats. It just helps me to balance it out. And even though I've used it quite a while, I think in my head, I know, and then I put it in the app and I'm like, oh man, look at that. I was way off, or I was too high, or my portions were too large today for somebody with
Right,
4,000 steps because,
right.
cast and a
It
cast.
helps to balance the macros. So, and it helps to hold you very accountable. I always say that if you're stuck in the yuck zone of your progress, that you're probably not tracking. And if you're tracking, then you're really educating yourself about how your body responds. You can also track, which we'll talk about next week, your poops. And I know that sounds gross, but your poops will tell you everything about your health and wellness. Steve, what is your win for the last 2.5 weeks of this challenge, and what are you working on this week?
Yeah, so thanks for asking me that. I uh, working on walking has been great, and I hadn't walked in a while, doing sit-ups and push-ups, and that's been feeling amazing. And also sleeping through the night. I had some disruptions, as some of you guys know, a rough year with losing my mom and stuff, but I'm back on track with that. Our sleep is so important, and our movement is so important, and we're all working on something, right? So feeling good, and I'm rested, and that's great.
That's awesome. My win so far has been, in spite of the scale that I do want to shoot on a daily basis, and I'm trying not to weigh myself every week now, and that's helped just kind of remove all the hysteria. I have lost a 1/2 inch in my waist, which means that my visceral fat is decreasing, which means that my health is increasing. And that's very exciting for me. Since I've started the challenge, I have lost 2.5 inches in my waist, and that's over the course of about 3.5 years. So it's been slow and steady, but it's heading in the right direction. My goal this week is to continue to hyper track everything I eat. There's something about having to get your phone out and put into the phone, I'm going to eat this, that slows the roll. I'm just going to tell you, if you're not doing that, or if you're not at least carrying a notebook around and writing it down every time you do something, you are your own worst enemy. Because a lot of people have allergies, they have an upset stomach, or their bowel movements are off. If you're writing it, you can see the trends for yourself. And I know I've talked to a lot of people about this. People are very resistant. I paid a lot of money to a functional nutritional consultant who basically was hitting me over the head with it. And it's very informational and does educate you about yourself. So I am going to close out the call. Final thoughts, Michelle?
Keep at it. I feel like anyone is so worth taking care of themselves, and it's good habits for life. We're doing a challenge, but for the three of us, that when the challenge ends, we're still always working on our health, mind, body, spirit, to be the healthiest version, to live a long, really happy, successful life. And Juva helps us to do that, because when you feel great, you're not having brain fog, you're more successful in all your tasks that you're doing. You're more successful in your relationships of your family members and people you're with. So being healthy it's fun, right? You can do a lot of things. You can travel and do so much when you have your health.
You're right. Thank you. Steve, closing thoughts?
Yeah, so just saying this, we all start off sometimes in a challenge, and they're always ongoing, and sometimes we don't have 2 feet in just because life gets in the way. But you have 2 choices. Either you do something or you do nothing, right? So I know back in the day, and I had a guest on my call the other night talking about Weight Watchers, and it dawned on me, like 20 years ago, I went to Weight Watchers. She got me to go, and I had never been before, and I actually did okay. But driving there and all that, and I don't have time for that. Okay. So this challenge is so simple and it really meets you at your needs. Okay. And even if you just want to be a visitor on Melissa's channel, just do that. You know what I'm saying? And just get the information, come in, ask questions. And, no one's trying to sell you anything. Like we said, we want everybody just to come and you can join the challenge too for free. I mean, it's just incredible. So keep that in mind. It really is a community that's just amazing. And the more people that join it, it actually helps all of us. And we all stay on track because, it's not easy to do something like this on your own. We all need each other. And that's what the atmosphere is. And Melissa is a great student of stuff. She studies that stuff, tears it apart, and puts it back together. So, you're not going to get any better. So, just listen to it, contact her. If you know Melissa, if you know Michelle, that's her sister, she'll be sharing this as well. Contact her. You know what I'm saying? And just join it. It's as simple as that. You have nothing to lose and everything to be healthy.
However, you could lose feeling sick and tired of being sick and
Yeah,
tired.
that's true. And some weight.
And that's what I lost. And I hope I never find that feeling again, because in spite of, yes, we all get sick. We're all not perfect. Yes, we all fall off the track. But the biggest win that I've taken from all of these challenges is that I honor Melissa first and foremost. I now don't care what other people think about it, because I feel so bloody good that I just don't care. And it's not that I don't care about people. I care about people more than most people on the planet care about. I want everyone to feel as wonderful as I feel. And I will have to say that in the last 10 years, and even the last, let's call it 3 to 5 years, my blood work is better than it was 20 years ago. Everything about me is healthier than it was. Even my complexion, everything is different. So I want that for everyone. And that's why we do what we do. So I hope everyone has a blessed day and a blessed week. And I'm grateful to all of you. Have a great evening.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye. Good night,
Thank you
everybody.
so much.